just tuning in, this is Desert Islands, and I'm making a mixtape for Kate Malanaphy today, who I'm speaking with right now. Thank you so much for doing the show. I really appreciate it, especially since I'm the only one that actually has a homework assignment. So, it's kind of an impossible ask for anyone, but I've also known you as a performer for a long time, and I know tastes tend to change. So I appreciate you just giving a stab at it, and I always love putting these mixtapes together. I guess my first question, and you can go off the list for this one, just that you don't have to be a purist if it makes it impossible, because that question's hard enough to answer. Was there an artist or record on this list that kind of made you believe you could perform or inspired you to start performing?
I feel like I might go off list a lot.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, I mean, like, I feel like this list is going to change for me. I would have the hardest time being on my own show. So no worries.
Okay, gotcha. I feel like, oh man. I feel like as a piano player, as someone who grew up with piano, my mom kind of like showed me those artists as I was growing up to like kind of inspire me. I think a lot of other piano-based artists, and I feel like Ben Folds is one.
Yeah, of
really,
course.
like, showed me like, okay, like people do make music centered around this. I feel like a lot of the music I was listening to with my dad on the radio, you hear a lot of guitar, you hear a lot of like synthesizer, but you don't hear much piano-based stuff, really. I mean,
Ben Folds is that gateway drug for a lot of people, because he kind of shows that there is a medium for piano in that, like there is a vehicle for it. Like, it's not just like, oh, I guess I better be in a pit orchestra, or I got to figure something else out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like combining that like with the more raucous kind of music too, like instead of just like these emotional ballads and stuff. Like he definitely has those, but
sure, and there is a place for that, but there also is some theater kid energy in there,
absolutely.
which there is a place for.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like that was a big one. And the same thing kind of applies like Rufus Wainwright as well. Adding that theatrical element into like kind of pop based writing songs, you know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely
it all together a little bit. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this new record, because it's not like Keep for Cheap hasn't been busy. Like, we did see new material in 2022, and y'all did just come back from like Treefort. So like, where did you even find time to do this? Like, where did this come from? Were you sitting on this material for a while? Like, how did this record come to be?
I have been sitting on a lot of these songs for like years. Back to You is the oldest one. I think I've like maybe tweeted about that before, but I think that one's maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I slowly compiled the rest of them over the course of that many years. The newest ones are the guitar songs, and I would say that that's kind of been influenced by Keep for Cheap a little bit. Like I started learning to write on guitar for that band, and then I kind of like brought it back to this project too. When I had a song that was like maybe not quite in the vein of the Keep for Cheap stuff. And really it's been okay to work around, because like since it's this solo project, I'm not like on a label or anything like that. Like I've had freedom with the timing of it. So I've had like very sporadic recording sessions. I believe I had the first one in November of 2021. Me and Abe Anderson did like 2 days in his garage, and then recorded some more with Josie Volano and Alex Norman in February of the following year. So it was like, almost 6 months went by there. And in that meantime, like I was kind of learning the songs with those band members too. So that kind of gave us just a good amount of time to get comfortable. And then after that, like whenever I would have time, I would kind of be recording like on my own at home, little things to add. So it was kind of just like fitting it in wherever I could. wherever we had some free weekends. Cause like, you know, yeah, we did our tour in the summer of 21 and then we did one last spring and we've been like, or no, summer of 22 we toured and we had the record that summer. So that was, yeah, it was a very busy year for Keep for Cheap, but you know, just fitting stuff in more was
So like it seems like it's more than just playing with textures for you, because I do recall
mm,
playing some of your solo material on this show maybe a year ago, and it was more piano
mm,
centered. But you're absolutely right. You do bring some guitar work into this realm, and but your work also just showcases various shades of vulnerability anyway. Like even Keep for Cheap, but also in this solo material. And I think rock is just kind of like a perfect
mm,
title for this material, because it just struck me as like, yeah, it's vulnerable in a sense of just like, yeah, it's just laid bare. There it is. But it's also formidable in a way where like really only you know how it was formed.
mm,
And like maybe I could study it and kind of figure out like, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. But like you really kind of had to be there. So I guess like where do you draw the line in your songwriting
mm,
process? Like what do you keep for you and what do you keep for cheap? But okay,
mhm.
I swear that feels grammatically incorrect, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I feel like there is a level of like the emotional, just like it's not none of my songs are like alarming per se, but like there are some that
Well,
kind of get
right.
to a level of like discomfort. And I feel like
Yeah.
um you know, a couple of the songs I have for Keep for Cheap do that too. Like all my songs are gonna do that. But I think it kind of is in the way that it can relate to the other songs that have been written for Keep for Cheap by
Sure.
Autumn and using kind of like the same type of language and the same like type of metaphors. Like I find that a lot of my songs that I have written about like nature kind of stuff and like
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
little bit more like catchy kind of upbeat stuff I'll bring to Keep
Mhm.
for Cheap. Just trying to match that vibe a little bit more. It's like you know, a simple way to put it, but it's also like maybe the best way for me to describe it. I also feel like musically, like Keep for Cheap is very much like folk Americana country kind of stuff. So it's like
Right.
I want to have stuff that fits in with that and doesn't like throw it too off.
Exactly.
Although we
Exactly.
are kind of like we're trying to maybe branch out a little bit more too now. But yeah,
I,
going into it definitely at the beginning of Keep for Cheap with our like our first EP Get Along, like the stuff I was writing for my solo project at the time was very different. So I was kind of trying to like bridge
absolutely.
the gap there. And there's definitely still some songs that are skewed more towards my solo project in the way that they're kind of more they're not as easy to pin down, I feel like, into
Sure.
one. And yeah.
And I feel like your solo project allows for that freedom. What kind of
Yeah.
instrumentation are you gonna do for the live shows? The solo work.
Yeah.
Because we know what Keep for Cheap brings for the table, but like, what are you hoping to bring to the stage with this new material?
Well, I feel like I kind of have to talk about how I used to perform because it was just like for so many years it was like that was my thing was I was like the solo piano player, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like it was cool, it was fun, but also like the band has just brought so much more excitement into it for me
Sure.
and for like the audience, I feel like. And it's been a pretty classic like rock band arrangement. We have I have a guitar and a bass and drums, as well as my keyboard. And for the record release show, we're doing an additional guitar. And Abe is also going to play the trumpet that he played on Tomorrow. And we're going to have some extra percussion stuff too. So just adding in a couple more layers for that album show that might also stick around, see what everyone's availability is like this summer. But I think just trying to kind of fill in more of those gaps, you know, bring energy where it can be brought. That's kind of the goal with the live project right now. And it is based
Sure.
in just kind of classic rock band setup. Um,
Let's let's talk about that
yeah,
release show, because who is playing with you at
yeah.
7th Street Entry?
So first we're gonna have Greta Ruth, who is someone that I just want to shout out because I've played like a good amount of shows with her. And she was one of the people that I first played with when I was starting to play by myself in the cities. And her writing is just beautiful and like a little experimental, kind of like turns you on your head a little bit and is just so heartfelt. And so it was just like an extremely inspiring artist to kind of come up with there. And I'm very excited to see her perform again because it's been a while. And then we have Marvelous, who is known also by Marvelous Leonardo on Instagram. And he does the Cherry Pit stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In charge, not in charge per se, but is very involved in that, which has been super cool to watch happen. And I haven't been able to make one yet, but I'm trying to go. I know they just did their season finale, so I'm, going to keep my eyes peeled. But that's been a super just cool thing to watch all these musicians like get connected like that and always create such like incredible immersive live experiences. So I'm excited to see what he does on his own with the piano and stuff. Gotta get another piano player on the bill, I feel like, just kind of like round it out a little bit. And then we also have Trash Date, who I know a couple of them like peripherally and through mutual friends. But I saw a 2-piece set of theirs a couple months back, and it was just awesome. Just like the lyrics hit home, like very good kind of indie rock, a little heavier too. And I'm really excited to see their full band stuff. I've seen some videos of it on Instagram, but haven't seen the full band in real life yet. So that's going to be really cool.
So if you're just tuning in, this is Desert Islands. This is the show where I make mixtapes based on my guests' 10 records that they would bring to a desert island. Today I'm making a mixtape for Kate Malanaphy, and they were just talking about a release show that they are doing for their brand new record. Is the record available now, or can they do folks have to wait until the show to actually get the full?
It is available online. However, I do have CDs that are going to be available at the show, and I'm not going to sell those online. So if you want a physical copy, come to the show on May 26th.
So for folks just tuning in, when does music start? May 26th, and where can they get tickets?
Sure. We have doors at 7:30, music at 8:30, and tickets can be found. I believe you can go to First Av's website and go to the calendar, May 26th. I also have a link in my Instagram bio and my Twitter bio and all that good stuff too.
So where can people find you in the future, and what are you looking forward to? Like, what can we expect from Kate Malanaphy in 2023?
Oh, I don't know. I just hope to keep playing out with this band, start to play with more new artists around the cities, and maybe even travel a little bit, go to some different cities around the area. I haven't toured with this project yet, so that would be really, really cool to do. I also hope to start to like collaborate more with other local artists on different songs and maybe start putting together another record. Who knows?
So we heard a track off of the new record at the top of this set. If folks like what they heard, where is the best place to find you online? Where can they hear it again?
I would say probably my most active social media is Instagram, and that's just going to be my name with a period between my first name and my last name, Kate.Malanaphy. And then in terms of music listening, you can really find my music on any streaming platform. I recommend Bandcamp, though, because they got the lyrics and they have the credits, so you can read more about those songs and the people that put their work into them as well. Plus, I like that Bandcamp lets you like kind of edit the colors on your page and stuff like that. So it's a little extra creative license there with that one. And yeah, streaming royalties, blah, blah, blah. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I also know how it goes in terms of time. And I appreciate you taking the time to come on this show. Congrats on the new record. You can stream that now. Today's mixtape here on Desert Islands is for Kate Malanaphy. Let's keep going, shall we?
Yes, thank you very much.